Hello cardboard lovers, it's Cardboard Badger here. I hope you're doing well, and today we have a brand new deck tech for you with cards from the new set Theros Beyond Death. Super excited to show you what we put together. We're going Izzet this time. We are going with token draw, creating a stupid number of tokens, drawing through our deck to find our cheeky alternative win conditions, and I have to say, with the playtesting so far, it's been a world of fun. So before we get into the deck, I would just like to say, if you like this, or any of the other videos on the channel and you'd like to chuck us a like, subscribe, say hello to the Badger, or find us on other social media platforms, all the details are in the description below. That being said, we are now going to get into it, starting off with our creatures. We have 18 creatures in total, the first being 2 copies of Fairy Vandal. For 1 and a blue, we have a Fairy Rogue, 1/2 Flash Flyer, with whenever you draw your second card each turn, put a +1/+1 counter on Fairy Vandal. This worded means we can put +1 counters on our opponent's turn if we happen to draw 2 cards as well as our own. This can become pretty large and is also a fantastic blocker if we are playing opponents with flyers. So great early card, and it will become bigger and bigger and bigger as the game progresses. Next, we have 4 copies, a full playset of Wavebreak Hippocamp, a card from the new set. Absolutely amazing, very excited to see this one. We have, for 2 and a blue, we have an enchantment creature, Horsefish. It's a 2/2, that is it, but whenever you cast your first spell during each opponent's turn, you draw a card. Again, drawing cards is so important, as you will see later on, because we want as many triggers as possible to enable us to have a ridiculous number of tokens. And also importantly, it is a rare, but it is not legendary. So if we have multiple copies out, things will get rather huge. So 4 copies of Wavebreak Hippocamp. Next, we have 4 copies of Nadir Kraken. 1 blue. We have a Kraken. It is a 2/3 with whenever you draw a card, you may pay 1. If you do, put a +1/+1 counter on the Kraken and create a 1/1 blue tentacle creature token. This is where we begin to widen our board state. As long as we have the additional mana to pay for it, we are going to make this super large, and we are going to be pumping out as many tokens as humanly possible on both our turn and our opponents. And one thing that is important to note is they are 1/1s. That is very important regarding one of the cards we will be showing you later on. Absolutely amazing card. Again, it is not legendary. If we've got multiple copies out, things will get large rather quickly. Next, we've got 4 copies, a whole playset again, of Ironcrag Pyromancer. For 2 and a red, we have a Human Wizard 0/4 with whenever you draw your second card each turn, Ironcrag Pyromancer deals 3 damage to any target. So, as you can see, the deck has the theme of drawing multiple cards. And when this happens, we are going to be making lots of tokens. And with this, we are going to be burning our opponent's creatures or straight to the face. And if we've got more than 1 out, it is a good thing. We will be doing multiple amounts of damage. So 4 copies of Ironcrag Pyromancer, absolute all-star in this deck. Next, we have 2 copies of Gadwick the Wizened. 4x blue. We have a legendary creature, Human Wizard. It's a 3/3 with when Gadwick the Wizened enters the battlefield, draw X cards. And whenever you cast a blue spell, tap a target non-land permanent an opponent controls. Most of the deck is blue, which enables us to obviously tap down on their biggest threat, and also drawing a huge number of cards when this enters the battlefield. If we've got some spare mana left over, we will then also be able to create some tokens and make our Kraken bigger. So, amazing card, 2 copies of. And our final creature card, we have just 1 copy of Serpent of Yawning Depths. It's 4 blue for a enchantment creature, Serpent. It's a 6/6, so it's pretty large. But the most important thing is, Krakens, Leviathans, Octopuses, or Octopi should be, and Serpents you control can't be blocked, except by their own kind, basically. So this is fantastic because our Nadir Krakens hopefully will be really large. This isn't going to affect our tentacle tokens, which is a shame, but the actual main Krakens, they are going to be unblockable and they can just smash in for the win. So excellent card, 1 copy of. Next we have our selection of non-creature cards before we hit the lands. We are going to be playing a lot of instants. We want to be doing as much as we can if we have the mana available on our opponent's turn to enable us to either tap things down and also gain more creature tokens. So we are going to be playing a full playset of Opt. We are also going to be playing a full playset of Unsummon. We are also going to be playing a full playset of Negate. And we are playing 2 copies of Anticipate. Next, we have Bag of Holding. We have 1 copy of. For 1 mana, we have an artifact with, whenever you discard a card, exile that card from your graveyard. For 2 and tap, we can draw a card and then discard a card. So this is really important. Drawing additional cards again, creating larger Krakens, burning our opponent with our Iron Crag Pyromancer, and of course making tokens. We've also got the option of for 4 and tap it, we can sacrifice the Bag of Holding and then return all the cards that we've exiled with the bag to our owner's hand. So we've completely refilled, and that also works well with one of our Planeswalkers later on. So 1 copy of Bag of Holding. Next, we have our other token generator. We have a full playset of Improbable Alliance. For a blue and a red, we have an enchantment with whenever you draw your second card each turn, create a 1/1 blue fairy creature token with flying. And for 6 mana, for 4 blue and a red, draw a card and discard a card. So this will enable us to create more tokens. Again, super important, they are 1/1s, which is excellent for a card coming up. And we are going to be able to play, obviously, more than one of these because they're not legendary. And again, just create as many tokens as humanly possible. And you don't have to pay mana for them. So, absolutely fantastic card, a playset of. And this is the reason why it's important that all our creature tokens are 1/1s. We are playing 2 copies of Cavalcade of Calamity. For 1 and a red, we have an enchantment with whenever a creature you control with power 1 or less attacks, Cavalcade of Calamity deals 1 damage to the player or planeswalker that creature is attacking. So we can just go straight in with all our tentacle creatures. We can go in with our fairies as well and just win the game before combat even starts. This will trigger, and if we have a huge number of tokens, it can just finish everything off in 1 swoop. Absolutely fantastic card. Next, we have 4 copies of Risk Factor. For 2 and a red, we have an instant with target opponent may have Risk Factor deal 4 damage to them. If that player doesn't, you draw 3 cards. And it's got Jumpstart, so we've got the opportunity basically to use this 8 times at its best. They are not going to want to take 4 damage, but they are also not going to want to take the card draw, because card draw will enable us to make our Krakens bigger, make our Fairy bigger, our Fairy Vandal, create tokens, and refill our hands. So whichever way in this deck goes, this card is an absolute beast, and the fact that it has Jumpstart so we can replay it all over again is absolutely unbelievable. So, wonderful card, 4 copies of Risk Factor. We're also playing 1 copy of Nyx Lotus. For 4 mana, we have a legendary artifact. When Nyx Lotus enters the battlefield tapped, we can tap it, we can choose a colour, and add an amount of mana of that colour equal to your devotion to that colour. So we're going to be saying blue probably every time, and we will then use our devotion to blue, which should be quite high with Hippocamp and Gadwick and the Serpent out possibly. We will be able to tap this for a good 6 mana easily, and we can use that mana if we need to when we want to make more tentacle creature tokens. So 1 copy of Nyx Lotus. And our final card before the lands, we have a Planeswalker. We are playing 2 copies of the Royal Scions, 1 blue and a red. We have a legendary Planeswalker, Will Rowan, with +1. Draw a card and discard a card. Super important in this deck. Absolutely fantastic. It is going to trigger everything our deck does. Brilliant. The other +1, target creature gets +2/+0 and gains first strike and trample to the end of turn. This is rather good on our Nadir Kraken. If we've made an absolutely huge one and they keep blocking with 1/1s and things, this just goes straight through. Very good indeed. And if we happen to alt Will Rowan, that will be amazing. -8, we can draw 4 cards. And when you do, the Royal Scion deals damage to any target equal to the number of cards in your hand. This is extra cheeky if we happen to have sacked, previous to this, our Bag of Holding and brought everything back that has been exiled from the bag, in addition to the 4 cards from the Royal Scions, in addition to maybe the cards we hold in our hand. From out of nowhere, we could just cheekily win and do 10-12 damage, which is quite a fun alternative win condition, as it's not something that happens often. But when it does, it is a bit good. So 2 copies of the Royal Scions. And for the lands, we have a total of 24. We have 2 copies of Steam Vents. We also have 2 copies of Fabled Passage, 6 mountains, and we also have 14 islands. And that is it. That is the entire deck tech. Izzet token draw. Please remember, if you are going to be playing something like this, find as many tokens as you can, because it can get out of hand. Thoroughly enjoyable to play, I have to say. I hope you do enjoy it. If you play something like this, or you change it slightly, let me know in the comments what you changed and why. I would love to hear your thoughts. And all I can say is, if you have enjoyed it, please like, share, and subscribe, as I mentioned earlier. And if you would like to contact us in other ways, through other social media outlets, the links are in the description below. So all I can say now is thank you so much for watching. Please enjoy Theros Beyond Death, the new set. There's going to be some amazing stuff, I think, being brewed. I can't wait to check out some more stuff and start brewing yet another deck. And other than that, I'd just like to say thank you very much for watching. And we will see you again soon here on Cardboard Badger.